This is Nadisha in Chicago, and you're watching Channel Knowledge for Quality of Life. Friends, as I promised in my last short, that I'll be sharing something about sunlight, health benefit of sunlight today, and that's what I'm going to do. Before I do that, I have a request to all my viewers. Please share this, content, these vlogs, with your friends, families, and loved ones in improving their quality of life. This is my request to all and everyone that if you like the content, please participate. Give me your feedback and comments or concerns or criticism, whatever you have. And I'll try to improve as much as I can. So let's get into it. What you're seeing here is a summary of a paper which got published in 2021, and it says how other forms of energy from sunshine may affect our health. So basically, sunlight reaches Earth atmosphere in various forms of light, which includes, a bandwidth, and which has certain shorter wavelength and greater wavelength. So that's what we are going to look into it. And the visible light, some of the rays don't make it to the Earth atmosphere. So basically, we have ultraviolet rays, which we defined as UVB rays, which we will talk about it. It involves in the synthesis of the vitamin D production, and UVA rays, which releases the nitric oxide. Because if you stay in the sun, during a little bit, period of about 10 to 2 p.m., and you feel a little bit, sensation in the skin, and that sensation actually is a sign of a releasing of nitric oxide. And nitric oxide release has a vasodilation effect on our arterial system, and it reduces the pressure, blood pressure as well. And it has many other immunological benefits as well with the nitric oxide. So basically, this is a full spectrum of sunlight, which sometimes don't make it to the Earth. And these are the wavelengths on the x-axis, and spectral irradiance on the y-axis. And if you look at this visible light, which is UVB and UVA rays and infrared rays. So basically, the useful is these three rays for the human health. And we will look into this next slide. I'll be including the description of this link, hyperlink, in my vlog description, so you can read it in detail. I'm going to go very quickly because I'll be talking about the app as well. How I've been tracking my D production and my healthy exposure as well through an app on both Android or iPhone, whichever you have. So what you are seeing here, depth of the solar energy penetration through the surface of the skin. This is the UVB rays, basically, or UVA rays. UVB rays is involved, as I said, in synthesis of vitamin D. Basically, it varies from 380 to 450 nanometers of wavelength. Wavelength is nothing but, from each trough to next trough is a distance. It's called wavelength, and from each crest to one next crest is called wavelength. So, from one crest to another crest, or one trough to another trough, that's a wavelength. These are the different wavelengths of visible light: blue, green, yellow, and then the highest wavelength is infrared, from 650 to close to 900, over 950 nanometers. And the shorter the wavelength, this is the point to be noted. The shorter the wavelength, it remains on the surface of the skin. It doesn't penetrate. It doesn't penetrate through the clothing either. But the higher the wavelength, it has a greater penetration into the skin. Now, one would think that it is danger, but it has its own benefits as well. When I say the healthy exposure, we will look into it. What is a healthy exposure? Because we are not talking about baking in the sun. Okay, remember that. Because there has to be a healthy exposure. If sunlight is good for human health, it can have a detrimental effect if I'm baking in the sun to get tan, like other people do. But everything which is good, it needs to be consumed in moderation. That's what we talk about, whether it's a vitamin or it's a healthy stuff which you are doing. If you overdo the exercise, it becomes probably detrimental than being helpful, right? So anything in excess, it becomes harmful for the health, whatever it is. So remember that, when we are talking about sunlight, we are talking about within the context of healthy exposure. So, this is basically a skin cross section in large. This is a hair follicle. Skin levels has epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. So basically, infrared rays has a penetration. They say up to 4 centimeter it can penetrate inside, and it has this variable rays has a various beneficial functions to the health. Blue light destroys the bacteria on the surface of the skin when it gets touched or exposed. Yellow stimulates lymphocyte production. If you have been doing your blood work, you know what lymphocytes are. It counts in the complete metabolic panel as well. So regulates melatonin production, the green light, and the red light increase collagen production at the cellular level. So basically, this goes into the detail that UVB rays is, as I said, that it helps in the synthesis of the vitamin D production, and depending on a specific time and location, we'll look into it in the DMinder app. And UVB rays cannot penetrate beyond the surface of the skin, because remember that under the skin we have arteries, the arterial system, and arteries carries the blood. Blood carries the cholesterol. Cholesterol is nothing but it's a 7-hydroxy. When the UVB rays hits the skin, that 7-hydroxy gets converted into 25-hydroxy, which is the inactive form of vitamin D. Then it goes to liver. Liver activates it and becomes 25-hydroxy. And that remains still inactive until it goes and gets processed through the kidney. Once it becomes processed through the kidney, it becomes 1,25-dihydroxy, and it's known as calcitriol, which is the hormone. And it's a master hormone which does numerous things, which I have explained in my previous many vlogs in vitamin D. So please look at those. I'm not going to get into the detail here. UVA rays are wavelength about 320 to 399 nanometers, and it's visible light, and it reaches to the little deeper level under the skin, and it has many benefits. You can visually see the energy traveling through the skin, muscles, blood vessels, and tissue of the hand. Just like if you take a torchlight and you put your hand on the torchlight, you can see that redness through your fingers. So you can see that through your skin that it has, to some extent, has a penetration. But red light, on the contrary, and near infrared light has a greater penetration. They say that according to the scientists, that it has a penetration up to 4 centimeters inside the skin, and it has a beneficial effect of improving the tissue functions, wound healing, anti-inflammatory effects, and improve energy metabolism. And conditions like allergies, hypothyroidism, depression, dementia, cancer, diabetes-related symptoms, exercise performance and recovery can get benefit out of it, including pain alleviation and cardiovascular diseases. That helps in that area as well. Now, one of the proposed mechanism scientists explain this through the mitochondria involvement. Because it penetrates into at the cellular level inside the skin, each cell, we know that in the brain of the cell is mitochondria, which is the nucleus, and everything, the magic happens in this mitochondria. So this energy production through ATP levels, it rejuvenates the mitochondria and, at the cellular level. And that's how the infrared and, the near infrared radiations helps in rejuvenating and, so to speak, charging the entire cellular mechanism. How blue light affects us? Blue light is 460 nanometers in another form of energy from sunlight. And these are the different dispersions of the sunlight in many various rays, which we talked about with the different wavelength. And each ray has its own benefit. And that's what we are talking about here. And this is what it's explained here in this paper. So blue light plays a role in improvement of mood, depression, seasonal effect, and non-seasonal effect. This is very common in elderly, SAD, they call seasonal affective disorder. Other physiological actions like blue light suggest that studies include the increase in circulating beta endorphins, decrease in systolic blood pressure due to nitric oxide mechanism. Because, if you stay in sunlight and this blue light, when it hits, you feel a little bit sensation in your skin, and that's sensation is kind of like indication that nitric oxide is being generated, and nitric oxide has a vasodilation effect on the arterial system, which reduces the blood pressure as well. So it has a potential biomodulating effect within the cells. So it's amazing, and remember that we always talk about healthy exposure of any good thing is healthy. Anything which is good if you consume in an excess, it may become detrimental to the health. Whatever it is, if vitamin D is good, there's a range for different potential diseases. If it gets to a level that it may get bad as well. It's true with all the vitamins, all the things which we do in our life, right? So we have to be mindful of that, when we talk about healthy exposure. So I'll stop share here the screen, and I'll talk about the 𝗕𝗏 app. How I keep track of this 𝗕𝗏 app. So if you have a Android or iPhone, doesn't matter. It's available in both the versions. You can Google it at Play Store and you can find one. So basically 𝗕𝗏 app, this is the interface. And when you click this link, the main profile, the taskbar. So basically what you're seeing that, you can use this 𝗕𝗏 app. I have an Android phone, so this is the screenshot which I took. Wherever you are on the planet, it's going to keep tracking, and if you set the setting that, it should ping you what is the time when you can make your D. So you see that this chart, it measures based on your planetary position, based on your latitude and longitude. It tells you that, what is the solar sun for you at that location. And solar sun means, you are going to cast your shadow the shortest. And that's what the prime time, of course, there is a window to make D. And, this shows the current angle of this is 62. D from 8:48 a.m. to 5:04 p.m. So this is the window. But, remember that, you make the prime time of D synthesis when you cast your shadow the shortest. And that happens about 12 noon to 2 p.m. And, when sun is above our head. So the next slide is when you click that three, horizontal bars, and you will see this all pop out menu, home, reports, history, annual events, profile, pigmentation. You can actually code your skin color in that. also. And it's so sensitive that, it's going to keep track of it. So, and then, skin pigmentation, then, your diet and supplement. If you are supplementing your D, through the diet or through the supplement, you can document there, and it's going to take into account, in addition to the D which you are being made from the sunlight as well. Then it's going to take target of the weekly target, and it's going to show you the blood level, and then you can see the preferences and stuff like that. So this is the skin shade I was talking about. So if you look at the very white color skin to the darkest skin, right? So I stand somewhere here in between. So I would code myself. I have coded myself. 4 burns minimally, tans easily. This is the skin tone I have coded myself. I'm actually somewhere here in between here, but that's okay, because I'm always getting the sun exposure in a healthy manner. The type of skin, either I'm at 3 or 4, 30 to 40 minutes or 45 minutes is more than enough. The lighter the skin, shorter the duration is. Remember that. A white person may need only 15 to 20 minutes. The darker color Afro-American person may need hour and a half, to get the same advantage. Because, skin pigmentation has a role to play in making the D as well. That's why the darker the skin, they are at more risk of vitamin D deficiency, because, we are not exposed enough in the sunlight, and we don't make enough. This is the sources of D where you are going to put your sources. So if I take 5,000, I put it here and then save. So it's going to record it. And then it gives you a report that, what your target is and, your estimated level. So I target always 60, but, I'm getting more than that because, this DMinder app doesn't take into account for other nuances like, cofactors and everything, because you have to eat when you consume your D, with the largest meal of the day. If you are supplementing, because sunlight doesn't care, because it has a different mechanism, and you have to have K2, you have to have some kind of a probiotic with it, and if you add the vitamin C, it has all the beneficial factor effect, so it improves, your absorption gets much higher, than what you are targeting here for the sunlight or through the supplement. Okay. So this is how you can keep track of it, that for instance, if I go in the sun outside, if I'm walking, I can tag this thing, add a session, and then, I can say that the given day I'm taking this much supplement, and, my sun session is going to be from when I click this thing, is going to allow me to record at what time I'm leaving in the sun, for walking or for jogging or for whatever reason, I'm staying in the sun, even though if you're sitting, and then, you can define in that profile that how much you are exposed. Normally I go myself, I'm wearing a short sleeve t-shirt, and with my open neck and my shorts. So I define that thing based on this chart over in the profile, that it's 50% exposure of my skin. So that's how it's being recorded, because, the skin needs to be exposed to make the D. Okay. So based on that, on August 14th, I made about 2,604 IU through the sun exposure only for 30 minutes. Okay. And on August 13th, I made 2,558 IUs, for that duration, for 30 minutes about. So this is how, it keep track of your supplement, it keep tracks of your sessions as well, and then it can add both and give you a report form. Now, this is my recent blood work, which I did April 9th, 2025. This is my D level. That's how it's been going, and I'm at last blood work 97.3. Now some people may get alarmed that, oh, that's getting to the toxic level. but I'm nowhere near toxicity. Okay, and I'm going to give you a reason for that. Why I'm not at the toxic level? Because I'm consuming about 500 to 800 microgram of vitamin K2. So when you talk about toxicity, the first thing comes into your mind that what is your serum calcium level? Because if you are going to go above the normal range, then basically they call toxicity as being hypercalcemia. It means your calcium level is beyond the threshold. Okay, so I keep checking my calcium every time when I do my yearly blood work, and this is how my calcium is tightly monitored, through my K2 consumption. So my calcium is always in the range, so in this range, when my D was 97.3, my calcium was 9.4. Because my wife's doctor said that my wife got 99, and her calcium level was 9.2. So when doctor called her that you have to back it off, your D is getting close to the boundary line. Then we talked about her calcium level, and doctor said that she was surprised that her calcium level was 9.2, within way under, right? So we have to be mindful of it. So I'm going to stop share screen here. So what my gist is of today's vlog is that you can get a healthy exposure of sunlight for the health benefit. So I normally eat my breakfast outside on the porch when I get very mild sunlight, because that's infrared, and I get exposed while I'm eating my breakfast. So me and my wife both sit outside on the porch and have our breakfast when sunlight is there. We are done in 15-20 minutes, and then we go inside. Now, when people remain outside, sunbathing or baking in the sun, that's the harmful exposure, I would say. So if you get exposure, I'm not going to get into the sunscreen today. Hopefully I'm going to be getting into the science of the sunscreen, next vlog. But if you are remaining exposed to the sun for healthy exposure, and after that you can wear your clothes, and you can put your sunscreen, but you have to be very mindful what kind of a sunscreen you are putting. And I'll be discussing more on the next vlog, because it has detrimental effect, could have a detrimental effect as well, depending on type of sunscreen you are using. So be mindful. I don't use any sunscreen. I'm a chemical freak, so I don't put any chemical on my skin, or I don't ingest as well. So with this, I will leave you. If you have any concerns, questions, please include in the comment section. But remember that what I said, we have to get healthy exposure. It may vary from the person to person. A white person can have a healthy exposure of 15 to 20 minutes only, and then you can wear your clothes, and you have to be protective for your skin, because there are issues which people have with the sunscreen as well. But my belief is that Mother Nature is such that if you use anything in tolerance, with moderation, it's going to help you rather than harm you. So we have to be mindful of healthy exposure. Remember that. That's the key word, healthy exposure. And in India, a lot of people do Surya Namaskar in the morning, with closing eyes, and get the sunlight, infrared rays. So that's a healthy concept, and there's a science behind it. So it's nothing by fluke. God has created something for betterment for the humankind. Okay, it's not just producing the vitamin D only, but it has a lot more than that. So please be mindful of it. Okay, I'll see you next week with a sunscreen vlog.